Isn't the state bar supposed to protect the citizens from scurrilous lawyers? Not according to Dr. Richard Fine.
The state bar, by both history and statute, is an arm of the judges.
That's right. According to him, the state bar is the muscle for the judges. They are the court enforcers.
The California Supreme Court has said in cases that the state bar is an arm of the California Supreme Court.
Mathematics professor Dan Gottlieb was a member of the Marina Strand Colony 2 Homeowners Association who hired Dr. Fine to represent them in a lawsuit against Jerry Epstein, a high-powered Los Angeles developer. Epstein was about to build a towering new apartment complex right over Professor Gottlieb's home on county-owned property. But then suddenly Dr. Fine was abruptly removed at the most inopportune time.
2 weeks after he signed up with us, the state bar initiated a probe of him, initiated an investigation. And at that time, the head of the president of the state bar was Sheldon Sloan, who was actually hired by Epstein, who was the developer that we were fighting.
When facing the invincible Dr. Fine, Jerry Epstein hired Sheldon Sloan, the president of the California State Bar, and then Dr. Fine was confronted with disbarment proceedings. Only a fool would consider this coincidental, and Dr. Fine is bent on proving the collusion.
Just last week, the state bar admitted that the entire state bar complaint and proceedings was basically a fraud, because I filed a lawsuit against the state bar board of governors, the judges of the state bar as they're called, and the chief trial counsel of the state bar, and meaning he and all of his staff. These are the people who are so-called prosecuting, and the judges of the California Supreme Court.
So what was the justification for facing disbarment at this critical time? Professor Gottlieb has his opinion.
If they were trying to retaliate against Fine for suing the Epsteins, then that's secret. They couldn't say that. But that's what I think.
Perhaps it wasn't merely retaliation for suing the Epsteins. Perhaps the disbarment proceeding was orchestrated by the state judges, since Dr. Fine has accused them of taking illegal payments from LA County. Those payments had been ruled unconstitutional in the Sturgeon versus County of LA case.
State bar admits to that. They have one line in their brief responding to my brief in an order to show cause in the Ninth Circuit that says exactly that. It says that I was disbarred for filing, they call it frivolous cases, against the judges. And of course we know that there were no frivolous cases, so that's what I was disbarred for.
Professor Gottlieb thinks the action was more Machiavellian. Who was it that told you that the state bar can be used for that purpose?
The first person was a lawyer from Arizona, and then I have a friend who's a lawyer, and I was just talking to him yesterday, or the day before yesterday, and he said he seemed to be, oh yeah, yeah. And he was shocked that it went to disbarment, but apparently it must be a dirty secret that knows that these big powerful people who have ins on the state bar can use the state bar to launch investigations into other people.
Although disbarment was a rare conclusion of the other harassing investigations, Dr. Fine knew that once the proceedings began, he was doomed.
The state bar proceeding was extrinsic fraud and corruption, and therefore it was void. And the reason for that is that 5 of the 7 Supreme Court justices received illegal payments from the counties, and then you had 2 presidents of the state bar who were in litigation against me as attorneys for Mr. Epstein or the County of Los Angeles. And then, so you had all of this prejudice that was going. There was no way that I was going to get a fair trial in either the state bar or the California Supreme Court.
If this is so commonplace, then why aren't the more ethical people in the legal profession raising this as an issue?
The judges are saying, you go against us for our doing these criminal actions. We're going to throw you in jail and throw away the key, and we're going to disbar you. That's what this is all about. Naturally, any attorney looking at that is going to say, the hell with the law. Forget about my oath of office to uphold the Constitution and everything else. I'm not going to risk this. I'm going to keep my mouth shut. You know, this is the same thing that happens in any mass murder, any mass killing, anything else on this order. People are afraid because they're looking to their own interests first. They are not going to stand up for something that is wrong because they figure, let it happen to the other guy, and I'm just going to keep quiet and just keep going along, and these judges are going to do what they're doing. But
He vehemently disagrees with that ostrich approach. No one ever won a fight by appeasement.
these corrupt judges are minuscule in compared to the population of California. And yet the silence has allowed 1,900 corrupt people to remove the democracy and the constitutional rights of 38 million people. That has been the effect of no one standing up for it. Well, I stood up for it at tremendous cost. And now it is getting exposed. And now we will get rid of these 1,900 people. They are minuscule when you think of the 38 million people that live in California. And they will go.
We want to know what you, the viewers, think. Please respond to our survey and leave your comments below. Number 1, do you think the California State Bar Association is being misused by the judges to deter attorneys from exposing their judicial abuse of power? Yes or no? Number 2, do you think that the silence from the legal community and the law schools regarding judicial abuse indicates that they approve of silencing dissent? Yes or no? And number 3, do you believe that judicial canons of ethics are set forth by the Constitution are meaningless? Yes or no? Please be sure to leave your comments below. I'm Leslie Dutton. Thank you.
Links to court documents filed by Richard Fine and the State Bar attorneys can be found on this webpage below.